Boys, if you got a Authenticator app on your phone for Battle.net, you need to switch it over. Okay, that app is now obsolete. You cannot use it anymore, and you're gonna have to, either delete it or whatever. But you will now be switched over to the Battle.net app. So the Battle.net app will now handle your authentication for logging into WoW. Now, if you haven't done it already, you haven't linked an authenticator to your account, what the hell are you doing anyways? But if you haven't, you're going to get the Corehound pup. We all got that way back in the day when we did it. And the good news is, if you're still a keychain Andy. Oh yeah, man, this is nostalgic as hell. I had this. I had the Corehound one. This one. The one with the Corehound on it. Oh god, this thing was amazing, man. I don't know, it brings back good memories. I think I still have it in my parents' house in the office in the drawer somewhere. But if you have one of these and the battery is still intact, this will still work for as an authenticator. So to all the classic Andys out there, we're still using the classic authenticator. Rejoice, because it'll continue to work. But other than that, if you have the Authenticator app, which was previously a separate app from the Battle.net app, you could delete that shit. That's not going to be used anymore. Moving on, Community Council interview occurred. So there was an interview with Blizzard devs and the Community Council talking about a myriad of things from the War Within to current WoW. And some of the highlights from that interview were interesting. As far as Traders Tender goes, Blizzard kind of tried to emphasize that they don't want to monetize it too much, which is, talk is cheap. The Blizzard store is not cheap. We'll see if they continue to not monetize it, even though they already started to by bundling Traders Tender with a few things in the store. But anyways, they say there are no plans to have smaller bundles for Tender. They were just an experiment. So you'll only be seeing the big bundles of Traders Tender on the store. They're looking to additional ways to provide players to earn Tender in-game. So right now, the main way you earn Tender is, doing your weekly things, your different stuff, killing bosses, doing Mythic Plus, whatever, and you get your Tender along the way, and you get the weekly or the monthly loot of Tender as well. They're looking at other ways to give you Tender in the game, which kind of makes sense because I feel like we've been getting there's more items to buy now. So people do feel like they need more Tender. Me personally, I'm very frugal with my Tender. I have tons of it because I really only buy shit when I absolutely want it. Otherwise, I just hang on to it. In terms of drops for events, they said Arthas was too low of a drop rate chance, and going forward, they want to make limited time events have more accessible rewards. So that's an interesting one. I actually got Arthas. I was very happy about it. I didn't realize it was that rare, but I did in fact get him, and I guess people complained that they didn't get him. So Blizzard's going to try to change the drop rate on things as they continue forward. Whereas Sam's topless stream, it is allowed on Twitch, so maybe one day. Maybe one day, yes. The topless meta is alive and well. Organizational requirements are considered when thinking about rewards. This is why delves are capped at heroic raid loot in the War Within. If you don't know what delves are, they're that open world content that they're talking about having. It's going to be part of the weekly vault and everything. And evidently, it is going to go up to heroic item level gear. Heroic rating item level gear. So delves are definitely going to be a progression point in the game. They're going to be something that people are going to want to do to be able to get geared. Because heroic item level gear, that ain't no cakewalk. That ain't no shit. So people are going to get in there and get that done. That's an interesting one. BFA raids that are unsoloable due to mechanics will likely be looked at before Dragonflight is done. That's an interesting one. What BFA raids are not soloable? I guess it would be, is it the Rastakhan fight? Isn't it? That one, I think you gotta keep Wansamdi and him separated, so if you don't, you'll lose the fight or something. Anyways, they're looking at making, that content more soloable, because right now we've surpassed it to an item level where you should be able to go in and solo it. Nazath, is Nazath not soloable? I haven't even tried him to do solo. Anyways, they did talk a little bit about making content soloable, but I was wondering, with all this cross-faction shit, like it or not, whatever, it is what it is, are they ever going to make these raids that are not cross-faction? Because right now, raids like Ice Crown Citadel, raids like Battle for Dazar Lore, like those are faction-locked. You can't do them cross-faction. So when you go back, if you want to take a friend or something, if they're on the other faction, you can't do it still. So I'm wondering if they would ever change that. It might be too much code recoding and stuff to make it happen. But to me, you could just make it that whoever the raid leader is, you run the raid based on that person's faction. So, yes, there's a lot of switching back and forth in Battle for Dazar lore between the factions. But, hey, just base it on whoever the raid leader is and go about it that way. That's how I would try to get it done. There are no plans for Mythic Plus Bad Luck Protection. My Bad Luck Protection for the damn Legendary hasn't even worked. I freaking killed Farak 5 times now. I have 5 Bad Luck Protections equipped right now, and I still have not gotten the damn thing. So that is what it is, but they're not planning on doing anything like that for Mythic Plus. If you just have shit loot luck, it'll continue to be shit. Warbound loot is tradable until equipped and will drop at much higher item levels. This is a bit deceptive. I read into this more. I was like, what do you mean higher item levels? Because Blizzard specifically said that they don't want people to make multiple alts and then funnel gear into their main. That's what they don't want to happen. What this line is trying to say is that if you're running high keys, the item level of the Warbound item will also raise. It'll go up higher. It'll always be a little bit less than the main item that's looted for that character who ran it. But if you're running like a 20 plus key, the item level of the Warbound item will be higher than if you are running a level 13 plus key. You know, so that's pretty cool that the Warbound items will scale, and thus scaling your alts, which is really crazy. The whole Warbound stuff and all that, that's a game changer, honestly, for alts. And it makes alts really interesting for people who don't have alts, like myself. But that's the highlights from that. You can read the entire interview. There's more shit in there if you guys want to get into it. But those are the summary notes. The burden of the unrelenting justice transmog is going to start to be seen in the game. Yeah, if you don't remember, so this transmog was introduced when the trading post was introduced, and people just about lost their minds. And basically, if you did the trading post every month for 12 months, if you filled that bar every month for 12 months, you will get this transmog in January. Right? January would be the first month that you'd be able to start getting this. And people will start running around in it. You'll start seeing these Warden transmogs everywhere. Now, here's the good thing. If you happen to miss a month or two, you will be able to still get it because it's not about getting 12 months in a row. It was simply about doing it 12 times. So if you missed it by, if you missed one of the 12 months, too busy running around, jerking off or something, well, you'll be able to still do it one more month and then get it in February. Or same applies to anybody at any time. But anyways, this thing's going to start to be seen in January. And if you did get this Tiger, man, this is going to look good. This one also, like the Tiger mount that we got recently, switches between night mode and a day mode. That's really cool. It's a nice transmog. Moving on to the Upper Deck Blizzard Legacy Trading Card Collection. Yes, the makers of wonderful cards, Upper Deck, has now created a Blizzard Legacy Trading Card Collection. If you're a card collector and you love yourself some WoW, get in there and get it. The nice stocking stuffer, $24.99 for this card. 7 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. That's a lot of cards. So these cards are just based on WoW characters and other Blizzard IPs, so Overwatch, everything else you can imagine is probably in there. But this is what they look like. A brand Bronzebeard. Look at that. This is interesting. Okay. Yeah, so these don't look too bad. We saw StarCraft in there. A bunch of other Diablo. Yeah, okay. These are not bad. They kind of, oh, that's the back of the card. Okay. Yeah, so if you're into trading cards, this could be something, you ask Santa for Christmas. And if you, what is it? There's also the Blaster Box, also a limited edition Lich King Prince of Darkness card. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's nice. That's some nice art right there. Anything with the Lich King on it, I'm usually sold. So there you go, $25 basically will get you that, American dollars. New wisps and NPCs found in Bel'ameth. So Bel'ameth is the new Night Elf city, and the blasphemy of the fact that it is cross-faction after the Horde burned down the World Tree. I don't even know what to say about that. But, yeah, you'll be seeing orcs and other things running around in there. And, some people commented on my last YouTube video, Sylvanas will probably have a treetop suite in this city. But anyways, one cool thing that people discovered on the PTR is that there's a lot of wisps running around in this place, or flying around, or floating around, however you want to say. And these wisps have names. And these names are actually attached to actual Night Elf NPCs that once existed in the old Night Elf zones. So if you're feeling nostalgic, you can run around and read some of these wisps. For example, one of the wisps is has the name Ilathene. And Ilathene was the very first quest giver for Night Elves that Night Elves would meet in Shadowglen. And she unfortunately did not escape the burning of Teldrassil. So this is really cool that, these little lore tidbits are pretty nice. I like to see this kind of stuff. Again, these wisps are just floating around everywhere. There's some glitches because this is still PTR. Some of them are in weird spots. But yeah, you can run around and find the name of the wisp you want to be. You guys remember when they did the April Fool's thing where they were going to make playable wisps? Yeah, you blame the... It is pretty awesome. I like when they add little lore tidbits like this into the game. And say what you want about Bel'ameth and it being cross-faction. It's kind of shit, but this thing is kind of cool.